to another episode of Halftime Adjustments. It's your host, Eddie Arnell, my man, G Witt, Mr. J. Lewis. Going
baby.
on, gentlemen?
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up. Well, week 12 brings another interesting challenge for the two-tone blue. Here we are, man, the fourth leg of the Green Mile, guys. 2-1 so far. Could be potentially 3-0. Dropped a tough one at KC, but we knew that after last week, we hoped that we saw another explosion by this offense. The Titans were winners of 6 or 7 coming into this game. Put up over 400 yards of offense against the Packers on that Thursday night contest. And then the secondary was actually healthy for this game. So, had a lot going good coming into this week 12 against the Bengals. Of course, the Bengals were 4-5, winners of 4-5, and then now winners of 7 of the last 9 after starting 0-2. And so, again, we knew that Burrow was going to be Burrow. He's third in passing. They were 6th in offense and 13th against defense. So a great challenge for the Titans today, guys. A great challenge. Results, Bengals 20, Titans 16. And it almost, J. Lou, it almost had a similar eerie feeling as it did last year after the game was over.
Hey, the only difference is my calendar says November instead of January. Because you're absolutely right. I'll tell you, I think the one biggest call out for me on this game was I don't think we've seen a game take the Giants game away. That's first of the year. We've talked about that, and that's not the same team. But I don't think we've seen a team out physical the Titans on both sides of the ball as we did today. The last time we played them, we sacked them 9 times. We had 1 sack today, and we had majority. This is as healthy as our D-line's being outside of Danico being gone. You got Bud back. We know what he can bring to the table, and they were gashing our front four. And then on the flip side, their D line was punishing our offensive line. The Bengals have you've seen it ever since Derrick Henry went for 200 yards against Houston. The blueprint's out there. Every defense we've played since then has ran some form of a 5-man front, if not 6, and challenged you to pass the ball. And I think my frustration with the offense is that we refuse. We're not going to swap our philosophy, even though our philosophy is not working right now. Because this was a game. If you look at stats alone, I'm almost positive Tannehill played through the ball for more yards than Burrow, and it wasn't garbage time yards. It was yards in the meaningful of the game. But what we've been saying and what G. Witt has preached since 2021. We have our play caller, Todd, has no feel for when to call plays during the game. And I think you saw that today. But I was more disappointed in the defense, man, because I didn't think anybody would come in here and really punch our D in the mouth. I think that's the last time you probably see that all year. But that's a hard pill to swallow tonight, that I think the defense is what let us down in the trenches today.
So I'm going to let you go, G. I'm going to get this comment in real quick. Stacey Madden says, at some point, we got to stop saying Todd. I believe that Vrabel has the final say. You are correct.
100% agree. Yep.
We all agree that Vrabel has got to do something, which we all know he's not that guy. He's not going to do anything to shake up the front office, if you will. So, G. Witt, man, one takeaway. J. Lou gave us a takeaway of offense and defense. So give me one of yours, man. One off the offense, one off the defense side of the ball.
Well, in all honesty, J. Lou took mine, because I was just going to say, seriously, the problem we had, in all honesty, is that we just got whooped on both sides of the line of scrimmage. The defensive line played pretty well. They just could not get pressure on the quarterback. You could tell Danico was not there. And you just saw some things that just didn't seem normal with our D line. And I think that hurt. I was upset with Shane Bowen and not recognizing the fact or not doing anything about it. I ain't gonna say he didn't recognize it, but he didn't do anything about it. Seeing that one of the things they did with Burrow was make sure he got the ball out quickly. He was, and because we were given such 6-7 yard cushions, you're driving the ball, all the receivers got to do is turn around and the ball's coming his way. Right now, you're right. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow really is Vrabel's kryptonite. He beat him up in the playoffs and still lost to him. I mean, there's just no way they're as physical as we are, and actually in both of these games, in these last 3 games that we played them, they've just been more physical than we have. They play a. I'm gonna say they play. We like to muck it up, but we don't play dirty. They play dirty and they muck it up too.
Yeah.
So and with our weak offensive line, which we've been complaining about all season, it just showed. They could not move the defensive line at all. And one of the things they were doing, and that was brought out on the radio because we kept seeing it, they were basically just having their linebacker, the defensive linemen were basically holding up the line of scrimmage, and the linebackers just shooting the run gaps. And so Henry with the weakness of our offensive line, he just had nowhere to go. And that's been a problem. And you saw him do something today that he hasn't done. I can't remember the last time he had a fumble. But and I think it was I told Eddie in the stands, I think it was like 3 seasons ago when the last time I see him with a fumble. But that was the only play that we had that that only touchdown we scored. And again, this is just really, it's just something about this team and our team that we just don't have an answer for. And I'll be honest with you, it definitely comes more down to coaching than anything else. I will say that as bad as we played on both sides of the ball, it came down to coaching. It really came down to coaching, and we could speak volumes on how bad Todd was, but I thought Shane Bowen and the defensive staff did a poor job today too as well. So I'm going to go back to them and just sitting back and taking the emotion out of it. That's really what it comes down to, because you saw they made no adjustments at all. No adjustments.
Right.
So, hey, that's my biggest takeaway. Other than that, it's like you said, they're our kryptonite. We haven't figured out. We can play them close, but we can't beat them.
Yeah. So let me get this out of the way because she's a Kiera. How you doing, Kiera?
Hey,
Shout out to Kiera and Harold at the same time.
Yeah.
And so both of y'all made some great points, man. And here's my takeaways from both sides of the ball. Like I said, and G, we talked about this in the stand, so he stole my points, but that's fine, man. Good job. Danico, that just shows you how important Danico is. There was no wins by anybody on the front of the line providing any pressure on Burrow. I mean, he had all day to throw the ball. He got 1 sack, but that's not enough. They was able to get him 9 times, like you said, last time we played him, but this time that $1 billion offensive line held up in check. The other thing is the containment was horrible.
Trash.
Weaver was out of position so much. I don't even know what he was doing today. He was. I think he was doing too much, trying to be the hero, right, and make the big play instead of saying in your rush lane. There's a lot of times that we could see Burrow had an opportunity to run and he chose not to.
Yeah.
And so again, this bad containment, the tackling was poor. P. Ryan, they made him look like he was a Pro Bowl running back. Not to say he's garbage, because he's a pretty good running back, but he's breaking tackles 3-4 times doing a run, and he turned a 1-yard gain into a 7-yard gain, and that's just a backbreaker for your defense when you're trying to get off the field, especially when you got him in 2nd and long, and he breaks off an 8-yard run, and now he's in 3rd and manageable. And then on the offensive side of the ball, here's, and I said it a few weeks ago, and y'all know it, but somebody gave me so much grief some people gave me some grief in the chat about saying this. I said this weeks ago, and I'll keep saying it again. As long as this offense continues to play this way, we will not beat the elite teams. And you saw it today.
That's true.
You saw it today when you got play calling the way it is. If Vrabel not doing anything to address Todd down, and he's our offensive coordinator for the rest of the year, so everybody just get used to it. Even we got to get used to it, because that's how they going. But the run lanes. So if the run lanes out there, right, to begin with, why you keep bringing everybody into a tight formation? That doesn't make any sense. I can see that from time. And so he's bringing people in motion and stacking the box when you got them spread out and run the ball spread out. Yeah. If your offensive line is already struggling to run block, right? But then you continue to bring people inside the box to add more people to block. Yes, and all they're doing is bringing their corners and their safeties up right there on the end of the line of scrimmage and blitzing.
They blitzed the nickel corner the entire time. And what that was doing
was
was setting the edge on the side that he's blitzing, and then you got the edge set with the linebacker on the other side. So it's the one long run, if I'm not mistaken, that Derrick Henry had of 9 yards came out of shotgun, which we should have been. And if you look at Cincinnati, majority of their runs came out of shotgun, where to your point, Ed, he was getting 4 or 5 yards a pop. That's where we talk about the creativity and the predictability. And everybody in the stadium again knew when you saw Cody on the field as the only wide receiver, it's a run play to whatever side.
It's a run play. And that's the thing about it. I mean, that was just the bad thing about it. And it really just didn't make any sense. And for God's sake, please stop trying to throw passes to Jeff Swain.
Oh my gosh.
He can't block and he can't catch.
You got him on a tunnel screen.
Tunnel screen.
On a tunnel screen.
Yes.
Jeff Swain. And he can't catch. And you knew, and here's the thing about it, I would say like this. I think we saw against Green Bay, we saw what we've been saying. Tim Kelly was obviously calling that offense. Because you saw Hooper and Chig in the game the entire time.
Yep.
In the second half, Chig and Hooper spent more time on the sidelines than they did in the game.
Yes.
And it just didn't make any sense.
At all.
And I mean, the game was just bad. It was just bad. And it didn't have to be. I'm going to say like that. It didn't have to be.
Right.
Put it like this. It was bad enough to where Cincinnati actually started running a 4-man front.
Yeah. Yes.
They did.
Yeah.
They dropped. I know it was one time. I'm trying to think. They were going towards the north end zone. We only had 3 receivers in the route. They had all of them double covered.
Yes.
He didn't have nobody to throw it to. But go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so let's start on the defensive side of the ball today, guys. So 374 yards total for the Bengals, 266 pass, 108 rush, and I reiterate, Danico's absence today really hurt us because we didn't have anybody setting the edge from him. You didn't have anybody on the inside that can win and cause havoc. I mean, like we talked about the last time we had a show, his presence, his pressures alone are huge. Yes. And so you had no pressure today, right? We had one sack and then we forced the intentional grounding that time. But other than that, I mean, Joe Burrow, now granted, he got the ball out quick, to your point, G, like you said, but you don't help your DBs when you got him 8 yards off the ball and he's getting rid of the ball quick.
That's
right?
What I'm saying.
And somebody mentioned too that we got some little DBs. We do got some little DBs. When you're going against T. Higgins at 6'4", 6'5", you can't jump with him. But again, if you get him up on the line of scrimmage, kind of knock off that time and give your defensive line a little bit more time to get there. Yeah. If you're not gonna rush anybody, then you help them out. But G-Wade, man, let's talk about this defense today, man. And I know you're disappointed as I am, but I mean, sloppy tackling, no pressure. Go ahead.
And I think that with the defense, in all honesty, that disappointed me more than anything, because they have been tackling well for most part of the season. It's just never fails. It's like the Cincinnati game. There's always something that goes wrong in this game when we play them. The last 3 times we played them, it's always something. And especially on the defensive side of the ball, it's like we can't tackle anybody, or you discount the playoff game with the 3 interceptions. That's the best defensive game we played. I mean, we played them good. You stop and think about it. We held them to 23 points. We held them to 23 points, but it didn't help because we got an offense that can't score. They averaged 30 points a game. We held them to 23.
20 points.
Yeah, I know it was 20.
Yeah,
but I'm saying 23 because they had the field goal until I.
Oh yeah.
So
I got you.
We held them to 23 points. My thing is, though, really the biggest disappointment in the defense today was they couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. Vrabel went for that field goal with 6 minutes left to go, something like that.
Yeah, we never saw the ball again.
and you couldn't get off the field. You knew you were in trouble on that first play when they threw it to Higgins on just an 8-yard turn is all he had. And went straight out of bounds. I'm like, man, we're not gonna stop him. Even though I was hoping we would, I'm like, we're not gonna stop him. and they just had the defense off balance. That's why I said it comes down to Shane Bowen and the defensive staff not coaching the game correctly. I mean, because you never adjusted to that. I mean, I think he was more fearful of them going over the top, which I understand. But at the same time, you got to teach your corners how to be a little bit more physical than what they were today. Playing off coverage just was not helping. That's like, put like this, playing off coverage against Cincinnati with third receivers like playing off coverage against Kansas City and their receivers. They're going to get open.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to get open.
So you got to get up on them. You got to play them somewhat physical. Again, like you said, Eddie, slow the offense down to make Joe Burrow have to hold the ball a little while longer. If you don't do that, then you're not going to win. That's the biggest thing I take from the defense. There were a couple of times Joe Burrow had all day, and you saw Bud Dupree and Rashad Weaver both do the same thing. Taking you got the outside contained, but then all of a sudden you decide that you're going to curl and go inside, run right into a double and triple team, and can't get in close, and you leave Burrow way out.
Right.
You know, you saw David Long Jr. do the same thing. You know, it's about these guys. I think, you know, even though Vrabel tried to downplay it all week, talking about it wasn't a revenge game, you saw these guys trying to make, like you said, Eddie, hero plays. They try to make hero plays instead of doing their job. And that's really the disappointing part about it. I'm hoping it looked like the secondary came through pretty much unscathed. So I'm hoping we get to see a better performance out of them next week. I mean, they got a challenge going against Philly, but hopefully we get to see them play better next week than what they played today. I couldn't understand a couple of things they were doing with the sub packages and everything. I was surprised that Molden didn't play more than what he did. And I was also surprised at the defensive line rotation. It seemed like they kept taking Pop-Tart out more than what they normally do.
So J. Lou, man, talk about it.
So I think Pop-Tart was fighting the illness, and I'm only gonna say that because we got the probably about 50 minutes before the game started, and you could see when they were doing warm-ups. I told Kenny, my brother, I was like, he looked like he had an IV because he had the Band-Aid tape up like you would IV somebody, and then he came out after the sleep. So I think he could have been fighting the illness. Yeah, G-Wood, the one thing that was disappointing, you brought up about play calling and Shane Bowen. How many times today did you see Bud Dupree and 99 Weaver in coverage? Like they were dropping back in coverage too many times, and I'm like, what are we doing? And then I thought, for as great, and again, this is because he set the bar so high for his expectations, but I don't feel like David Long played his best game today.
He did not.
I think too many times he was out of. It goes back to what you just said about them trying to play hero ball and make a play instead of playing within the team, because he was overrunning a lot of plays. He was out of position. His blitz packages were terrible. Like there was no rhyme or reason to his blitzing. And again, I thought we went away. It was shocking not to see Molden or Hooker blitz more. Now, I thought you would have saw them blitzing a little more, especially from the slot when you brought Adams in and had him playing safety. And then I think and again, the Titans have never been a defense that will take our best corner and man them on their best wide receiver. But at some point in time, you've got to make an adjustment. And the rookie, he looked like a rookie today. Roger looked like a rookie, but I don't think we ever made the adjustment. And the last ball he caught was on Christian Fulton, and that's just a great play. Right. But I think we waited too late to adjust to try to put your number one corner on at that point. Today, Higgins was their number one receiver, especially after Boyd went down and went out. But I just felt like overall, this was one of those games where the defense, they were trying to go for the big shot, go for the big play too much instead of playing within their scheme and the game plan. And you saw that they took it to us. Even Jeff, I mean, you missed Danico. You talked about his presence. Jeff is overcompensating because Jeff's not 100%.
No,
you can see it out there. He's not 100% out there. And then if you got a wounded Jeff Pop-Tart and the other one's not giving you everything that they can on that side. And then Bud, you talked about Weaver. There was twice Bud had horrible containment, and you never see that come from him. So I just think that this was one where I think that in the back of their mind, they played tight because, again, 10 months ago, the same team came down here on a Saturday afternoon and knocked and ruined your season. And I still think that that was probably the mental hump that this team just couldn't get over today.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Good assessment by both of you guys. Here's another stat too that the Titans have been really good at these past few weeks. On this current winning that they've been doing. Four plays of 20 yards or more today. So 4 chunk plays that they gave up. And that's something they have been eliminating in the past few weeks. And so again, out of characteristics again, and I agree that they were out there doing too much outside of the game plan, if you will, the scheme. You saw it, man. They overrunning. When was the last time we saw them not fit the run lanes correctly and overrun plays and be out of position? Not since they 0-2 start, right?
Yeah, especially since Cunningham went out and Cole has been in there playing run defense. They have been hitting the holes perfectly, and today they were overrunning plays or getting caught up in the wash.
Yeah,
more than ever. It was amazing to me what happened today.
Naquan was inactive today.
Yeah. Naquan was inactive.
I think Ed McKinney was asking about that. He was inactive today, and so we did miss him as well to give us that depth. And so, I mean, unusual to see that by the defense again. And I think it comes down to coaching, like you guys said, man, and them trying to. I don't care how much, like you said, I don't care how much Vrabel try to downplay it and had the guys downplay it. They wanted more of this game than they wanted anything else thus far, because of how Cincinnati came in here and they talked a lot of smack after they won, and they was talking again today. And so we'll have to see what happens when Jerry rolls around.
Just take it. Right. You gotta just take it and chew it. That's all you can do.
Right, exactly. And so. So let's go over to the offensive side of the ball, guys. And Jay Lou, 344 yards of total offense for the Titans today, 281, 63 yards rushing. And to me, and I'm gonna let you go and speak on this. The only play you come close to scoring a touchdown is a fumble into the end zone, which was a great play, really. Set up, and Derrick Henry done a good job, but you get a fumble recovery in the end zone. That's your only touchdown for the game, Jay Lou.
I mean, it's so the stat that's telling today, number 2 red zone team in the league, 0-for-3 in the red zone today.
0-for-3.
So all week everybody talked about, we're gonna see distractions from the DUI that's hanging over Todd and all. Well, one thing that Todd does well is red zone offense, and it was trash today. Man, it was trash. And then I will say a few bright spots. You're starting, you love to see that Treylon Burks is stacking good games now. That ball he went up and just took from that DV, which should have been pass interference.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He went up and took that one. That's just a man of a play. So you see him coming into his own, and you're going to need him because, again, this is quiet as it's kept 3 weeks in a row that teams have stacked up to say, Tannehill, can you beat us? And I personally, how many times did he throw the ball today, Ed? 35, 36?
34?
I think this is a game he should not. I don't think it was too many. I don't think it was enough. And the only reason I say I don't think it was enough is because the Bengals were going to be hard-headed on defense. They literally were playing you man-to-man with Eli Apple in that other corner.
He's so terrible. He's so terrible. Both of them.
At this point in time, and again, to Tannehill's credit, because he missed Burks on one early, but if you go back, don't blame Tannehill on that.
No, he couldn't.
I will say this, the experiment, I was hoping that offensive line, we wouldn't have to find 3 or 4 in the offseason. I think we might have to, because I don't think we have a center. You hope that you can get Ben Jones back, but next year, I'm hoping he clears concussion protocol, but next week. But Aaron Brewer's not in at center. We were getting his lunch taken from him up the middle. So, and that's part of the passing game problem. I will say, you like to see the 5 wide receiver packages with the quick passes we had, because that, to me, a 4-yard pass out of that is an extension of the run. Right. However,
Cincinnati was doing
that's all
the
they
whole
did.
Game.
However, your 5-wide package shouldn't include Jeff Swain as one of those
or Cody or Cody
in that 5-wide package. So overall, I'll say as quiet as it's kept too. I thought Tannehill played decent. He was late on a few throws, but this is the team that I know somebody put in the thing about mentally. He talked about going to therapy and all for them. Tannehill's played his best ball since coming off that injury. You think about the last couple of weeks when he's played. So it's time to slowly change the philosophy to put the ball in the hands of your quarterback in turn to open up the run, because everybody knows, we talked about Derrick Henry. He didn't look like he lost a step on that run today. I think he just had to weave out of too much traffic. And let's just be honest, that's a great play by that defender. Like he has a great punch by that, but great hustle by Burks. But everybody's loaded up to stop Derrick Henry because you have no weapons you have no weapons right now that the league's scared of. But if you use Burks, if you use Chig, who's a wide receiver in a tight end's body, you have the weapons. And I think that's what's frustrating that the offense won't do.
Here's the thing, and somebody put in the chat, why are you not using Chig and Hooper more?
Man.
You used them against Green Bay to perfection, and all of a sudden you come up against Cincinnati. We can't. That's what I was saying. You saw packages out there, and they're not there. If you got them, you got to figure they're going to be lined up against who? Linebackers and safety. Yes. That's a win every time.
Yeah.
Not Jeff Swain.
Right.
Not Jeff Swain. To your point, with Burks coming on like he's coming on, and you still got solid route runners in Bobby Trees, and NWI. Mm-hmm. If you got those two tight ends in there, you got 5 wide you can go with, and actually come up with something, because they can't double all of them.
No,
but we know they all can catch.
And guess what else you can do? You can run because you got 2 tight ends out there.
Yes.
Even now they can do is just chip and get in the way. You still can run the ball. That's what I'm saying, Todd Downing. I think going against basically what happened, Eddie, in all honesty, I think what they did was because, like we said, I think he was upset because Tim Kelly called the game last week, and it went so well. He went out, he got plastered, driving 100 miles an hour, got pulled over, and in order to try to placate him, to make him feel, okay, you called the game this week.
Yeah.
And it was horrible.
And look.
It was horrible. This team has got to face the facts as quickly. Well, I'll say this. Vrabel has got to face the facts as quickly as he likes to move on, as they like to move on from players. You got to move on from that OC.
Yes.
So, you got to move on from him.
This is starting to look like, and I hate to say this because Vrabel's such a good coach, but this is starting to look like a malarkey.
Malarkey, yes.
I got my buddies.
It's a Mike syndrome.
That's right. Yes. I got my buddies on the squad.
That way.
I don't want to get rid of my buddies.
Michael was that way. It's the Mike syndrome, man. They don't want, and I understand. These you pick them and everything, but reality is reality.
Guess what?
Your offense can't score
at all.
At all.
And it starts with the head coach.
And it starts. So you got to make a change. Face the facts. It's okay.
Right.
I know the one reason he probably doesn't want to do it is because he knows he's going to prove everybody right. Everybody's right. He knows we're right.
And everybody's waiting.
What he's seeing.
Yeah, everybody's waiting.
Everybody's waiting.
And the thing about it is, like I said, when he threw that challenge, I'm like, man, that's a wasted challenge. I said, if you did it to get your defense some extra rest, that's fine. I said, but that's a wasted challenge because it was an automatic catch. But my whole thing was really, I will say this. This is why Vrabel's a good coach. Vrabel had it set up. He knew they were going to play for the field goal. He made sure the third down defense was going to stop them on that play to kick the field goal. We're only down by 7. We can go down and move the ball and possibly score. Mm-hmm. Bottom line. This is the other problem I have with the offense, and this again it comes down to coaching. Your offense can't get in the rhythm. What's the easiest way to get your offense in the rhythm?
Up tempo.
Never called it today. Never seen it today.
Right before the half. That was it.
Yeah, that was it. 2 minutes.
That's
Man, that's a 2 minute warning. Yeah, you're right.
They could have went 4 minute offense and up tempo with that and get his offense in a rhythm. He never did it. That's what I call that's the dumb football.
But you can't get in a rhythm when you're changing wholesale personnel every single play.
Every play.
Right. But here's the thing about it. You run 4 minutes with Derrick Henry in the game.
Yes.
You put the personnel in there and run with it. Because the bottom line is everybody knows when you run up tempo, who doesn't wear out the most?
The defensive line.
The defensive line. Yep.
Come on with it.
You run up tempo. That's what I was saying today when we were leaving. It was just dumb football today.
Mm-hmm.
It was dumb football. That play on the field goal was the coup de grace, for lack of a better term. It was the icing on the cake. But it was dumb football the whole game.
Yeah, and again, we saw last week against the Packers, the Aaron Brewer got exposed again today. He's too light. Everybody in the chat saying he's too light in the pants.
Yeah, he's too light.
And they know it.
And they know it. They don't have nobody else.
Instead of Levin at center. And, bottom line was, I guess they looked at it like he did okay last week, but, that 300-pound lineman that they had going against him against Green Bay, he didn't play much.
Mm.
He didn't play much.
DJ Reader was just causing havoc all game long. All game long. The King only had 38 yards rushing today on 17 carries. And so, when have we seen him get held in check like that? It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Man, when you can't block, that's what happened. And like you said, that's what we're going to see going forward.
You keep motioning people into the formation to make it tighter and tighter. You're already struggling to run block.
So instead of 7 men in the box, we're gonna put 10 in the box.
10. Yeah, we're gonna add a whole team.
We got a receiver that can't get open.
Yeah.
So basically, he's one-on-one and can't get open.
Right.
That's the thing about it. This offensive formation and everything we've been saying all season long, and you started seeing it last year, is just horrendous. And Todd Downing has just got to realize that he's not the man. He would actually do Vrabel a favor and just say, I resign. That's really what, if he was a stand-up guy, that's what he should do.
I'm going to be like whoever said it earlier about Todd. I'm just going to start saying Vrabel. It's his fault. It's his fault he's letting this go on. And when is Amy going to step in?
She's not. No, she's not. She's not like her dad.
She's not as true.
She's not like her dad. Her dad would have been going off the deep end and everybody would have been fired.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, really, Vrabel, he's going to have to make that decision, or either Todd's going to have to make the decision for him.
Oh, yeah, we know that ain't going to happen. We know Todd ain't going to do it.
And Todd would do better. He would have done better saying, look, I'm having too many issues. It's best for me to step away right now. It's just best for me to step away right now. And that would have been fine.
And so, and I agree, Deion says the hunch he had was about Tim Kelly calling the plays. Look, if you didn't know that Tim Kelly was calling that offense last week, you can see a night and day difference. How much of a difference was it from Green Bay to today? I mean, it was this mind-blowing, right? Where was the deep shots? Where was Chig on the crossing routes today? He had Chig one good deep ball he caught.
Wait a minute,
right?
I got one
crossing routes, period.
Right.
I got one even better for you.
Yeah.
Where was the play action? Because we didn't see a lot of play action. I didn't, Ed, I always look for my glance play. I really didn't see it today.
So they the play action they ran, and I don't know if you saw it. It was a 2-man route, and both of them ended up on the same side of the field.
Yeah.
So and he hit Burks for the first down out of it. But I'm like, how do you end up with both guys?
For his life.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you end up with both guys in the same area on the play action?
It happens all the time, man. If you stop and think about it, when you go back and look at even in the Green Bay game, you saw that happen. Where the receivers ended up in the same area. I'm like, dude, really? And let's just be real about this. The 2-man route game ain't working.
At all.
It never works.
It never works.
I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. It never works.
2-man route game ain't working.
When you got 5 or 6 DBs and cover 2 guys.
Yeah, it never works.
You just told everybody we're gonna make them have to run the ball because we either gonna get a run or we're gonna get a sack. One of the two. Because Tannehill, to his credit, and I know they've told him don't run. I know that's what they've told him.
He had no
choice.
choice.
His is still jacked up.
Yeah. Which he
he
looked like he tweaked today.
He did.
Yeah.
He did tweak it.
Yeah.
All through it. Because matter of fact, he came out the field. I thought they had taken him to the locker room, but I guess he just went into the blue tent. They either shot him up or they taped him up or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he got rolled under and everything. So I mean, it was just bad. I mean, you know. Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say, so Kyle Phillips will be back. Again, it doesn't really matter at this point because if you don't have a way to get the ball to your guys, it doesn't matter who we got at this point.
You're not going to use him,
and you're not going to use him right.
Yeah.
If you're not running guys across the across the middle of the formation, or when people are dropping back in zone, running somebody into the middle of the formation to get open, it's not helping you at all. And that's the problem you got with this offense. There's just no imagination to it whatsoever.
Yeah, and I mean, go ahead.
This is worse. Put it like this: you got somebody out there calling a high school offense in a pro game.
You got Burks out there, had man-on-man coverage, and you never took advantage of it.
Never.
Now, I know they rolled a safety to his side a few times, but the times they didn't, right? Yeah. And you saw what happened, one-on-one, throw the ball. Just like the field goal they had, I think they went up 10, was it 10-7, G Witt? I was telling G Witt, I said, man, throw the ball to Burks in the end zone. He's got just throw it up. Just throw it up. Just throw it up.
Throw it.
They wouldn't even.
Well, I mean that alone right there tells you play calling, because that's the field goal we missed at the end of the half. Yep. We never took a shot to the end zone from the 15-yard line.
Nope.
Never threw the ball.
I was talking about that drive too.
Yeah.
I mean, like throw the ball in the end zone. The Burks, throw it up.
Just man.
You saw what he did today. You saw what he did last week.
You see what he's been doing.
He's coming.
He's
right.
coming. And what Burks has done has made NWI revert back to a 3, which he is, and that's making him catch the ball and be more confident.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So what you have going on again, you got to change this offense up, because the bottom line is always going to be this. There's no way you line up 5 wide with Swaim in the slot.
I'm not gonna get over that. Yes.
Why you got? First of all, not only is he the worst pass catching tight end you got, he's also your slowest one.
Yes.
So it ain't like he's gonna put fear in anybody's eyes when he gets out there.
I told G Witt that his mouth would slap a 75 on his back.
I mean, it's gonna be a tackle.
And you don't even want to do that because he can't block worth a flip.
I will say. The one thing that's disappointing on this offense, I don't think we're utilizing the other running backs enough. I think that Hillard, the shotgun runs with Hillard, I think we need to incorporate them a little bit more, because right now everybody knows when he comes in the game, it's a screen pass.
And you saw when he ran the ball today, what happened? First down.
Yeah. And so the one dumb call you tried to do when you had him and Derrick Henry in the game, they both ended in the same spot for the screen pay, and I don't know what we were doing on that.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to mention that. So what kind of play? Who calls that play? Second and long, right? Second and long, you run Derrick Henry across the formation all the way to the other side of the field. You got 10. I think they had 2 screen plays drew up, because Dennis Daly was downfield on the other side. Tannehill was looking this way, right? And then he turned around, he throws a 15-yard pass to Hilliard in the backfield, a 5-yard loss. Yeah. Who calls that play?
I don't get it.
Who draws that up like that?
Yeah, who draws that up?
Here's the thing that's going to have to happen, in all honesty. It's really, you could tell, let's be honest about it. Tannehill doesn't function well and tie down his offense.
No.
Never has.
No.
Never has. It's really the worst, the person, he's the person who suffered the most when Arthur Smith left. No advance about it. You could tell. And this has been 2 full seasons, and we don't see anything getting better. I mean, it's really bad. And again, I just don't know until, and here's the thing about it. And this is what we all got to realize. And us three, we know it. The head coach has the call on the coordinators and everything. That's his job. GM has the call on the players and everything. J. Robin and Mike Vrabel got to sit down in the room, and J. Robin's got to tell him, look, man, you got to do something.
Yeah, he's got to.
You got to do something. This don't make any sense.
It'd be one and done at the playoffs.
One and done.
Yeah, that's all you're gonna do is one game. You get a home game and you'll lose that game,
Yes.
and you'll be sitting on the couch with the rest of us. That's the bad thing about it. People point out the deficiencies in players and everything, but the bottom line is, and we've said this ever since Vrabel took over, good coaches put players in good positions.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
They coach to their strength. They put them in position to their strength. And what we see happening right now is that these coaches are not putting these players in position of their strength. Ryan Tannehill's strength is play action.
Play action. It's play
Arthur
action.
Smith proved it 2 years in a row.
Yep.
2 years on the road.
Then you come in, Todd Downing, he takes play action off the board.
He dropped back passing.
Drop back passing. That's not Tannehill's strength. Post to his strength. Put play action. Everybody's lining up to stop Derrick Henry anyway. And quit putting these weak tight ends in. Put Chig and Hooper in and let them run those seam routes for you. They're gonna get open.
Gonna get open.
I mean, you think about it. There were no slants today.
Not one.
Not one.
And if those linebackers are crashing, you go play action, a slant is open all day long.
The glance was open all day.
The glance was open all day long
with Burks and
this-
Woods.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's more. The coaching is what really hurts you in this game. It's coaching.
Oh yeah.
Vrabel, he'll admit to it and everything, but he's not going to change in his OC. And I don't know what he's going to do about his DC. I'm not saying get rid of your DC. They would do.
He had one bad game. Yeah, he had a bad game.
They would do a bad game.
He had a bad game.
And let's just be fair. They still held them to 20 points.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm with you.
If your offense can just score 20 points in the NFL, we might win this game today. But
what have we been saying all season?
27.
They can score 21 points.
21 points.
21 points. That's all we've been asking. We ain't asking for the moon.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. That's all you need.
They can't score 21 points. They scored 27 last week, and we thought the heavens finally opened up.
Man,
27.
Well,
that's average in the NFL.
Again, Tim Kelly called the plays last week. I dare
just
somebody to find out different because I'm telling you.
I agree.
They got to prove us wrong on that one.
Right.
I know the announcers were all saying that it was Todd Downing, but we know.
I just can't believe that, man. I just can't believe that.
Tim Kelly was calling those plays, man.
The mix that was there last week that wasn't there this week. I mean, it's obvious that this game today looked like we saw before the Green Bay game.
Yes.
How many passes went across the middle of last game against Green Bay?
There were several.
How many you saw today?
Not a one.
None.
You saw you saw one, but yeah, Tannehill couldn't step into it because he got hit as he threw the Burks. And Burks dropped it. But I mean, it was a tough play. It was a tough catch. It wasn't a really good throw. But 0 for 3 in the red zone today. One of the most efficient offenses in the NFL in the red zone. 0 for 3 today. 7 for 16 on third down conversions, less than 50%. So, didn't play to our strengths today on the offensive side of the ball. And I think somebody said it. We've been saying it all the last few weeks that Dylan needs to play left guard when Ben Jones comes back. I mean, he's been playing solid, or put him at left tackle and get rid of Dennis Daly.
Get rid of Twice Daily because, man, that right there is – okay, we talked about coaching, and I wasn't going to get on Daly. But that is GM malpractice. Because just think about it. Think about it from Vrabel's point of view. And we've seen them cut too many players at the drop of a dime who ain't performing during the season. And you continue to think that Dennis Daly is putting good football on tape. There's no way. No way.
Look, so one of those hitting blitzes off the edge.
Yeah.
So Dennis, he blocks down and double teams with Dylan instead of stepping out. His man comes up and makes the play on Derrick Henry. I'm just like, dude, that's your man.
That's the thing what you see. They got line calls, but what you see happening on that offensive line is nobody making football plays. Your line call may have been for you to block down, but you see the man coming up beside you.
I see a guy standing outside of me to the left.
I see a guy. So you should be communicating with your left guard saying, look,
he's
I got to go out on your own. That's communication. No, this knucklehead still doubles down and leaves his man free.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Again, you just got these consistent problems happening week in and week out with this old line. And yeah, we need Ben Jones back bad. We need him back. 2 games is way too many. And I know they kept him out as a precaution, and I understand that because a concussion with an offensive lineman is a dangerous thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I get that. And even though he practiced this week, you have got to have him back against Philadelphia. You cannot go to Philly and hope to have some semblance of a decent offense.
I mean, have you seen Philly's D-line?
We're going to talk about that just a second. So hold on.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. You got to have him in there. Or Tannehill's going to be on his back the whole game.
So, Caleb, on special teams, of course, Stonehouse, again, he continues to do his thing. Had a 71-yard punt in this game again. Averaged over 53 yards a punt, 2 inside the 22 touchbacks. Caleb, though, he's got to make the game. As me and Jay Lou was texting during the game, he's got to make the 34-yard field goal, man.
Yeah, he's get win or not. You got to make that low kick. I don't care about the win. Let's go back to Stonehouse for a second.
Yeah, go back to Stonehouse.
That 71-yard punt, I don't know how it came across on TV, but I will tell you, this man, so TV probably don't let you know. It was windy in the stadium.
It was.
You can't feel it, but it was windy. The flag, don't look at the flags on the goal.
It was blowing in your face, wasn't it?
Yes, you got to look at the flags on the actual stadium.
Right.
Who kicked that 71-yarder into the wind? Into the wind. Let's just remember that. Because the kick before that, you could tell the wing hung it up. That next kick going the same way, he booted it looked like a missile coming off his foot. And again, that's where you talk about, forget it being a net with a 51 because of the 20 yards, but you still flip fields because we were way down within the 15-yard line that he kicked it. So he's definitely having an all-pro year, and we need Slim Randy's calf to heal up because
real quick.
We need him back quickly.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, he missed the one, which if he makes that one, you never know how the second half runs anyway. Probably the same way, but still, I mean, at least you walking in with a lead and everything instead of being tied. But really, in all honesty, man, I thought special team wise, I'd like to know why Haskins wasn't receiving kickoffs.
That's a good question.
And that is a great question, but it looks like they've just made Board the return specialist for both. Because if I'm not mistaken, he did punt returns and kickoffs, and I agree. He's much better at punt returns than he is kickoffs.
You need Haskins doing the kickoff because Haskins reads his blocks on kickoffs a whole lot better.
Yep.
So I think that experiment has got to go out the window. Board can do the punts. He does a great job with that. Catches the ball and everything. You saw him. He was also trying to do some hero things too. Yes. Instead of just taking what he had. So the bottom line is, I think you got to put Haskins has proven, and I think it's a good fit, even though I know you want to use him as a running back, even though you never handed the ball off to him. But you have got to use, if you're going to kick returns, he's averaging what, 25 yards?
25.
Yeah.
You keep him back there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He's found his niche, and you're going to use him as a running back and everything too. So I don't know. I really didn't understand that part of the game today.
Yeah.
I think some changes they made just didn't make sense, and that was one of them.
And Vrabel has been touted to be a really great coach. They undefeated after more than 7 days rest. After
first loss today.
First loss today. And so, some head scratching decisions by the coaching staff today. And so we'll see what happens as we roll into the next leg of the Green Mile, the last leg of the Green Mile, if you will. Week 5 of the Green Mile against the Philadelphia Eagles. And you got the number 2 defense in the league and the 5th offense in the league scoring 26 points a game. And they add, as one of you guys mentioned, Ndamukong Suh and Linville Joseph to that front court. And then, they traded for Quinn from Chicago. And so you talk about some beef on the inside. No. These guys are not going to be easy to run the ball on. So here again, here's a week to where you can't bring in a tight formation and expect to run the ball when you got 2 guys that are great run defenders in Joseph and Suh. And so, Jay Lou, man, talk to me about this Eagles team. This 4-3 defense is what we're going to see and how we can attack it. Because they got a great secondary, too.
That's what I was just going to say. They don't really have a lot of gaps, but I think you you've got to spread them out. So what you were just saying, Ed, this is where you've got to see more run plays out of the 3 wide formation, or if you go tight end, fullback, because I don't understand why Carter is still on our team and you didn't play him.
Didn't play him at all today.
You play him at all. Stop putting the tight end as a fullback. Use somebody, use somebody who's a real fullback back there. But this Eagles team, man, on both sides of the ball, they got weapons. Now, if we think we broke containment today and Joey B just didn't want to run, you playing a quarterback next week who ain't gonna mind running, and they do design runs for Mr. Hurts.
He's about what, 230, 235,
yeah, 235.
So.
He's a solid guy. So I can go ahead and tell you the first play of the game next week for the Eagles will be a play action bomb to AJ Brown. Just to make a statement. So we're gonna have our hands full. Now you were glad to see, as G Witt said, to see some silver linings. It looks on paper right now that everybody, the starting DBs, came out with no injuries. Fulton was the one I was worried about, especially with the hamstring. He played the whole game. So, I mean, you might see him on injury report, but I think those are just rest days. You probably won't have Danico. I think you're still looking at him about 2 weeks away. At least a 3-week injury for that.
They said 2 to 4.
2 to 4, yeah. So and they didn't put him on IR. No. So that's a good thing. So but we've got to generate pressure but contain. You almost want to run similar to what we did against Patrick Mahomes. As far as keeping him in the pocket and making him have to throw, because again, Jalen's gonna be one, Hurts is one that he'll hang in the pocket until he can make a play, and he's great at the off script plays. And then they got speed, and they got AJ Brown, who's your possession and speedster guy. So this is and Philly can run the ball. Why does this kept? They don't have a bad run game. So this is gonna be one that we're able to cook up something special this weekend. We'll be on here next Sunday talking about where were these Titans at last weekend, because that's just how he does.
Know that's how they do it.
That's just how he does, man. Because they rose to the occasion ever since that Buffalo game. This one, however, I feel is going to be an even tougher battle up there in Philly, just because I see no weaknesses on this Philadelphia team.
G Witt.
All right. I'm sorry, but I got to do this. The Titans are not winning next week, man.
Oh, I've never heard a prediction from G Witt.
Right. The guy that never give predictions.
They're not winning next week, man. I'll be honest with you. One thing, it happened last year, and it's going to happen again next Sunday. If you notice, we don't do well against the teams where we've let our players go to.
Oh yeah, AJ Brown revenge game.
AJ
Brown Davis last year. Yeah.
To your point, J. Lou, first play for Philadelphia will definitely be a play action go route, and they're gonna throw it up and let AJ Brown go get it. Bottom line is, really with the Titans, at the state they are now, if Danico is not playing, we don't have a pass rush. Let's just be real about it. Weaver, at best, is a backup.
Yes.
At best, he's a backup, and everybody else that plays on that side is a backup. The only starter pass rusher that you really have, pass rusher, is outside linebacker is Bud Dupree. I mean, let's just be real about that. That's all you got. With that problem, with Danico not being there, that's going to hurt Big Jeff, because they're going to double team him, if not triple team him, which is going to, and he's already playing on a bum ankle, which is going to make it hard for him to get that push up the middle. And especially if they play Pop-Tart the way they play him today, it's going to be hard for them to get that push up the middle. And the bottom line is, Jalen Hurts this season, one thing you can tell the man works on his craft.
Yeah.
Because the one thing he couldn't do last year was stay in the pocket and make those throws. This year he can stay in the pocket and make all the throws.
Yeah.
In addition to being able to run when the opportunity presents itself. I just don't see it happening. The offensive line right now is playing trash football, and like you said, everybody is playing 6-man fronts against us, making it one-on-one blocking with linebackers shooting the gaps, and we haven't beat it yet. Let's just be real about this. Titans are not going to win this game. They're just not. And I would be totally surprised if they do, especially with the way they're playing right now with Todd Downing calling the plays. We won't score. I ain't gonna say it's gonna be bad as that 59-0 that the Patriots put on a few years back, but I'm telling you right now, the way Todd Down is calling this offense going against that defense, we won't score.
It's gonna be a tough game.
I'm serious, we won't, because really right now and we've been saying it, and people have been on our case about it because we've been talking about how bad the offense has been playing, even though we've been winning. We've been saying it all season. They're wasting a Super Bowl caliber defense.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, you get ready to go against probably the best team in the NFL right now. And you're getting ready to see the difference between somebody who has a good offense and a good defense against a team that has a piss poor offense, excuse my French, and a good defense.
A good defense, yeah.
You get ready to see that. And then everybody will understand what we've been talking about. It ain't that we're not Titans fans. We just tell them the truth.
Mm-hmm.
This offense stinks.
It does.
It stinks. You know it stinks if we're praying for 21 points. Praying for them to score 21.
That's all.
That's all we're praying for.
I was hoping for a pick 6 today. We needed it.
We needed it. Me too.
Because the bottom line is your offense can't score.
Right.
Your offense can't score. And people need to quit having this, letting the win streak, blind them. I love the win streak. Don't get me wrong. But the win streak is really because our defense has been playing lights out.
Mm-hmm.
In spite of all the injuries. And now you get ready to go into the heart of it, man. It's gonna be ugly on Sunday. I'm here to tell you right now.
And like I said, been saying weeks and weeks again, this offense, if you can't score, you're not gonna beat the elite teams. You're not gonna beat the elite teams. It's gonna be tough.
I mean, you think about the position, the good field position we had in the first quarter.
Right.
In the first quarter, we had good field position on every drive.
Yeah.
And went 3 and out.
Yep.
So you gotta stop looking at this team. Again, somebody put on there and said we get in the playoffs, we got a half, and that's all we got.
Yeah.
We got a half a game. Because that's all Todd Downing and this offense can put up. Let's just be real about it. Until Vrabel makes a change, that's what we're going to be dealing with. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, we've been saying it since last year. You went away from Ryan Tannehill's strength, which was play action.
Yeah.
And you see what you have going on.
Yeah, you running these.
One of the things, man. I mean, Vrabel's a first time head coach. He's learning some things. He's still learning some things. And he's learning that he made a bad decision with his OC.
Yeah, but he's 4 years in.
Yeah.
So I mean, how much more?
Learn some things.
I know, but shoot, by this time you should know if you got an offense that's producing or not, and you should know that your offense is an offensive as an NFL caliber offense. Well, he's got to do something.
He's just not gonna change his OC.
Well, that's bad coaching. That's bottom line. Bad coaching.
And we can all agree on that. Again, what did I say at the beginning of it? This falls on coaching. Right. This game today falls on coaching.
I'm with you, Ed. Ed said, don't be surprised the Titans win and then lose to the Jags. That's what they do. That's what they do.
Baltimore lost to the Jags today.
That's right. That's what they do. Did. It's going to be, like you said, a tough run on both sides of the ball for the Eagles. The skill positions to match. And I mean, I guess the best thing I could say is, you force Jalen to make the reads. You force him to make the reads. Can he be patient in the pocket and take the check downs? Can he read the defense and make the right decision every play?
Yes, he can.
Well, we'll see.
No. He can.
No. We'll see when they play us. I'm not talking about everybody else. I'm talking about when they play us.
I'm just, I know I'm a Debbie Downer right now, but I'm telling you.
Yes, you are.
I'm telling you. I've watched the Eagles play this year, man. That is a dangerous offense.
The Colts had them in check last week.
Yeah, but I'm telling you.
Okay. All right.
And you got to remember the Colts are playing better simply because Jeff Saturday is there.
But guess what? They don't have no offense either.
They don't.
They in the same boat we are. So
I disagree.
Who they got on? Who's their quarterback?
I disagree. Since Jeff Saturday's been there, Matt Ryan has played better.
Okay.
He has. Go look at it. He has played better.
We'll see what happens. That's why you got to line up and play. That's why you got to line up and play every week.
You play. As Herm ever said, you play to win the game.
Oh gosh, Herm was.
I'm just telling you, man. If the tight, you might be hearing Mike Keith yell out, "It's a miracle!" Again.
It might.
They win next week.
It might.
I just don't see it happening.
So the tough game, 5th leg of the Green Mile.
It's the last leg of the Green Mile, man. I just don't see it happening.
We'll see what happens. Again, you got a lot to play, and anybody can be beat on any given day. Doesn't matter who it is. But thank you all for joining us tonight. Another episode of Halftime with Joe. Y'all write this down out there. Y'all listening to G Witt, how he listen to him. Listen to him.
And trust me, if the Titans win, I'll take it. I got no problem with it.
Of course you will. Of course you'll take a win. Duh.
I know.
Captain Obvious. Come on, man.
I already know. I'm telling you.
But hey, join us next week. We'll be back to talk about the Eagles and the Titans. And we'll see what happens, man. We'll see. It's the NFL. Anything can happen. The Jags beat the Ravens today.
Yeah,
the Browns beat the Bucks. So anything can happen, man. Shoot, Vanderbilt beat Kentucky. Yeah, so who knows what happens, right?
Yeah, waxed by UT.
Again, thank y'all for joining us. Hey down there, G with J. Lou, man. We are Halftime Adjusters. We are out of here. Peace.
Peace.